Hey, what's up? John Sonmez from simpleprogrammer.com, and I got a question today about getting brain fog. See, I've got brain fog right now. I got brain fog and brain frog. Oh gosh, brain fog when working long hours, which obviously happens to me. Happens quite a bit. So this email is from Christopher, and he says, "Hello, John. I'm 20 years old, and I'm currently learning HTML and CSS. I have no job, so I can sit all day in front of the computer. I've noticed, however, that after many hours, I start to lose focus and can't concentrate. How do I deal with this? Do I just push through or take a break? Thank you very much." And I thought I'd read his additional info because it's kind of funny. He says here, "I work for 25 minutes and then dance for 5 minutes and repeat." That I have to try that. I tend to, I don't know, just sit down or chill out for 5 minutes, but maybe I should dance for 5 minutes. That might help. So he says, "It's only recently that I've started being able to defer gratification and take action properly. I'm not used to doing things like this at all." Okay, so here's the deal. This is what I would recommend. You're only going to really be able to focus and do focused work for a certain amount of time during the day and for a certain extended amount of time, right? There's always these trade-offs that end up happening. If you look at the video I did a while back on how I plan my week, and I use the Pomodoro technique there, one of the things that I've noticed, right, and I've coached a lot of people through this, is that you try to measure how much work, how much Pomodoros, how much Pomodori you're going to do during the day, and you try to up that number. And the cap really for most human beings is around like 8 to 10 a day on average. Now, some days you exceed that, you hit 14, you hit 16. Sometimes you have a week where you hit 14, 16. I've seen people hit 18 before, but then the next week is bad, okay? And you get into a bad situation. So what that means, right, if you think about it, let's say 10 Pomodori, right? That's 5 hours of focused work, right? So that's why really, if you look at the literature on this, I think the first time I encountered this was, where was it? I believe it's Cal Newport's book. He wrote a book called So Good They Can't Ignore You, okay? So in that book, he talked about some people that had like studied this and had written about this, and he basically said that there are many sources of people that said that 4 hours was really the max concentration. If you look at a lot of authors, Stephen King, I believe, he writes for 4 hours a day. I think Stephen Pressfield said that he writes for 4 hours a day. You can't really exceed much past that, right? There's no one out there that I know of that's doing hard focused work, like a writer, for example, for 10 hours a day and is sustaining that for a long period of time. Now, you might be able to do that for a short period of time, but my whole point behind this is just simply to say this, is that you're only going to be able to do so much focused work, right? And I experienced this myself. And what I try to do is I try to vary the work a little bit. So there's kind of two strategies that you can do here. First of all, you have to realize that you only have so much focused, really hardcore work, and you got to realize what activities are focused work and which ones are not, right? So writing is, if I have to do writing, I put that at the beginning of my day, always, right? Whereas something like creating a video, I could create YouTube videos at the end of my day because it doesn't require so much focused work. Now, sometimes I'm a little bit scatterbrained when I'm doing a YouTube video, and because I'm not as focused, and there's maybe some drawback to that, but it's a less of a focus requiring activity. When I do coaching calls with people, right, I schedule them at the end of the day, at the night time, and simply because no matter what I've done, no matter how much I've worked, no matter how much I've focused throughout the day, I can always get on a call and talk to someone and coach them because that just comes natural. It doesn't require a huge amount of concentration and focus, right? Does that make sense to you? So what you want to think about is what activities are going to require that deep focus, and realize that you've only got probably, about 4 hours, and that's going to be hard to do. So you want to front load those things while you've still got the focus and get the important stuff done in that time. And then you want to fill in the rest of the stuff in your schedule, right? So that you're packing that maybe 3 or 4 hours a day of that focus work. And then you're figuring out the other stuff. Maybe it's answering some emails. Maybe it's, whatever kind of research you're doing, or just reading where you're not doing deep concentration, right? So you can figure out, and it might be different for you depending on what you're doing, but figure out what constitutes the deep focus stuff and figure out what is the other stuff, and you sort of schedule your day that way, okay? And you want to put the least focus, concentration task towards the end of the day, the stuff that you could do no matter what, so that you can always hit those, and then also the least important things, right? Now, the other thing that you can do, the other strategy here, is one that Winston Churchill actually employed, which was that he would paint. Okay, he was a shitty painter apparently, but he painted a lot, and he talked about this a lot. I can't remember where I read this, but he talked about this idea that switching it up, right? Doing something different, even though it was still some amount of work or effort, the creative mind, like giving some outlet for that, actually made him reinvigorated for the other work that he was doing. So just switching it up, switching your mind. So for example, it's good to be focused on one thing. You want to definitely have contiguous blocks of time that you're focused on a single thing, but you may want to have something else going on. I have found it actually valuable. I know this is going to sound weird coming from me, some of you that have watched my channel, but I've been playing around trying to do like half an hour to an hour of video game play or something like that. So it's engaging my mind. The kind of games that I play are kind of brain engaging games usually, but that helps. It's just that switch up, right? Doing some reading, a lot of things that you can do and to switch it up so that you're doing different things are going to help you to refocus and to be able to be enthusiastic and have that motivation again. So that's, and you can break it up, right? That's the key thing, right? If you're sitting down and you're trying to read a book and trying to just do programming and learn HTML and CSS for 8 hours a day, it's not going to work. Instead, what you want to do is maybe say, okay, look, I'm going to hit the hard part first. I'm going to do exercises and programming and doing the real coding stuff at the beginning of my day. Then I'm going to do some reading, okay? And then maybe I'm going to do something totally different. Maybe I want to do something that's going to be creative, that's going to benefit me. Maybe I'm going to do some design stuff, whatever it is that's going to break things up, or maybe a totally different thing, or maybe you're going to take some time to read. Heck, maybe you're going to take a nap and you're going to come back, right? You got to figure out what is it that you can do, that you can chop it up and make sure that you pay careful attention to the focus time that you have limited time of. So it's a great question. I think this is something that happens a lot. Like you get this brain fog, right? If you just keep on going, you're going to. So you got to have some way to switch it up. Heck, the dancing might help. I mean, maybe going and doing some physical exercise. At one point, I used to break up my day a lot and do the workout in the middle and then get back to work, and that helped me a lot as well. But now I schedule it towards the end of the day. All right, I hope that helps you. If it does, don't forget to click that subscribe button below, and I'll talk to you next time. Take care.